Hi everyone and welcome to a new review. Now in this review I would like to talk to you about this book right here, and that's Alabama Song by Gilles. It's either Leroy or Leroy. I couldn't find the right pronunciation, so we are just going with that. This book is actually written originally in French. It has been translated into German, that's what I read. It sadly has not been translated into English. I think it should. So, what is this book about? Actually, the premise of this novel is pretty simple because it is telling the love and life story of F. Scott Fitzgerald and his wife, or Zelda Fitzgerald and her man, her husband, F. Scott Fitzgerald. It is told from the point of view of Zelda Fitzgerald, which I really appreciated that, because I think with the whole thing of Fitzgerald finding inspiration, if you want to put it that way, from their relationship for novels like The Great Gatsby, we often see his point of view on their relationship, and reading that novel, it is quite frankly the complete opposite. So I really, first of all, really appreciated having her point of view and having such a balanced point of view actually. He neither romanticized her or villainized her. And if you write from a point of view, like from the point of view of one person, you could fall into the trap of romanticizing that person because you're telling their story from their point of view. But it did manage, with the writing of this novel, did manage to not do that, but also not villainizing her by giving her point of view. And that's something I really appreciated. Funnily enough, that didn't sound right, whatever, you know what I mean. This is really very reminiscent of novels written by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and I found it very, like, sometimes I was like almost smiling to myself because having a book told from her point of view, but in a such in a writing style that at least reminded me of novels like The Great Gatsby, was kind of interesting because it really worked well with the theme of showing their lives, and really the focus on how much Zelda actually suffered from being put into the shadows of her husband, by her husband and by other people. And then having a novel written in such a reminiscent style of her husband, there was an irony and a certain thing of, yeah, there's a very dark humor within that, I personally found. So again, the writing style is probably my favorite thing in this novel. And what I also really found interesting is that this book is not a book you should read if you want to know the dry, true facts. This book is more of a reimagining of their lives, of the questions we ask ourselves between those facts. So it really isn't going to give you the exact biography of those people. It's more like if the author had some bullet points of facts and he was writing the story between those bullet points, if that makes any sense. So there are some parts that are probably fictionalized, and I really enjoyed that, except at one point, and that one point really brought down my enjoyment. And I know it probably sounds like a petty point, but it not annoyed me so much that it went from almost a perfect book. This could have been a favorite, a new favorite. I'm rating my books in percentages, so it could have been like a 97, and it was a 90 now because of that. And I know it probably, when I explain it, is a petty thing, but that moment really just brought down my personal enjoyment. But it's not really a critique on the enjoyment of the whole book, because if you don't know, the Fitzgeralds were also part of that group of writers and artists who lived for a period of time in Paris, and those people were also including Gertrude Stein, as well as Pablo Picasso and Hemingway, Ernest Hemingway. Some of you may know about the friendship or relation between Hemingway and Fitzgerald. So the first two, Pablo Picasso and Gertrude Stein, and some other people alongside, they were all named by their real name, except Hemingway. He was named, I think, Louis O'Connor. And I did my research. There's no Louis O'Connor in their lives from what I researched. And the thing is, the description of Hemingway were so clearly Hemingway that I was wondering, why the heck did you decide to rename him as the only person in your novel? Because I think it has to be a very conscious decision, because if you describe a person that distinctively that you can tell it is Hemingway, but still decide to rename him, there's a conscious decision behind that. I just didn't get it. It did not work for me. Maybe it has to do with sort of a theory actually the author sort of puts out there, and that's that the relationship between F. Scott Fitzgerald and Ernest Hemingway was more than just friends. That there was some tension, some romantic sexual tension there, and they just wanted to you know what I mean. And that theory is like brought forward by Zelda. I'm not sure if that's an actual thing she thought, but that's at least what the author is bringing forward, that there was sexual tension between Hemingway and F. Scott Fitzgerald. There was more to that relationship than just being friends. And if you bring forward such a theory, just freaking name him. And again, I know it is a very specific reason and a conscious decision to do that, but I just, for the life of me, cannot think of why he did that. And if you maybe know, you can let me know in the comment section, but I personally did not get it. So that really brought down my enjoyment. But this is a novel I highly enjoyed, especially because of the writing style. I had chills multiple times reading this book, and the phrases really floated well, and yet they were so poetic, and it felt very effortless, like it was just like a feather in the wind. Oh my gosh. Let's get those metaphors out. But I hope you know what I mean. It was so well written. I really enjoyed the writing style, but that one thing really bothered me, and bothered me to a point where it annoyed me just too much to give it a higher rating. But again, if you are able to either read it in French or German, and you are interested in the Fitzgeralds, and you know a little bit about the Fitzgeralds, I would highly recommend this novel. So yeah, thanks for watching this review. let me know in the comment section if you have had that experience of one thing annoying you so badly that it brought down your enjoyment of the book in general. And yeah, I hope to see you in my next review. Excuse the lighting situation, that's what you get from filming late after uni. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next review. Bye!